Jeff Van Gundy the other day said Dallas fans, this was during the Dallas Clippers game, are absurd, as they were booing Andre Jordan because he changed his mind and went back to the Clippers. They booed him throughout, and yet Dallas fans are cheering for Greg Hardy. Do you agree with Van Gundy or disagree?
I get Van Gundy's point. Listen, if you renege or you back out of a handshake agreement with a team, it's not nearly as bad as if you're alleged or you're guilty of domestic violence. I get they're not the same thing. But here's the deal. The fans in Dallas do not care. All they know is that DeAndre Jordan would have made the Mavericks a better team, and they're upset that he's not on their team. So they will boo him. And all they know is Greg Hardy probably makes the Cowboys a better team, and they're happy that he is on their team. Fans should care about whether a player's a good guy or not, but all fans really care about is whether that player helps their favorite team win or not.
I disagree with Van Gundy. They're not cheering Greg Hart. They're cheering the laundry. They're cheering the guy uniform? That wears the uniform. He could be faceless to them. They are Dallas Cowboy fans. When the guy makes a sack, they're cheering the fact that the Cowboys made a good play. They cheer the laundry. People root for the uniform. They don't root for the player. We've done the same thing in Denver because, as the three of us know, there have been countless guys that were bad people, that wore uniforms that we knew, that delivered, and people cheered them.
I'm going to disagree with both of you and Van Gundy to this extent. See if this makes any sense to you. The Mavericks fans are not necessarily Cowboys fans. I tend to know that people who are basketball fans are basketball fans, or they couldn't get Broncos season tickets. Football fans are a different breed. So I don't think you can say you don't like Donald Trump, so that means you must be anti-Republican. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I see where you're going with it. I see your point.
I think the people that go to
Maverick games are Dallas Maverick fans.
Because we all know that hockey fans are hockey fans. That's right. What they are.
That's a better way to make the point.
Absolutely.
So I don't necessarily think Gundy was making a point that makes sense in the big scheme of things. But when you talk specifically in any town, you know Chicago, the Blackhawks fans. They're Michael Jordan and Bulls fans. And then the Bears fans are the Bears fans. It tends to be, and Denver's an exception to the rule. Denver's football team is more of a college-type fan base, educated, and I'm not putting down the world, but when I go to, and you guys know this, when you go see the Jets games, that's a much younger demographic. True. It's a louder kind of group. So I think that doesn't run true about, we're not sitting there in Dallas, but I believe that Mavericks fans and Cowboys fans are separate.
Don't you think that if Denver signed Greg Hardy, there would be protests, people would be upset, he would go through a few practices, and then he plays, and he has a game where he has 3 sacks.
No. Okay. I'm going to give Denver people more credit than
that. The Dallas people. The Denver people
what we've
are
seen
better
in the
than
past.
Dallas people. That's what you're saying.
Okay, I don't even need to give Denver people credit. I advocated a year ago, and I think the Broncos made a mistake. Their offensive line was a mess. Richie Incognito was available. He's a bully. Now, Richie Incognito is playing football.
Do you think Denver fans would be upset with Richie Incognito?
And according to Pro Football Focus, he's the
top guard in the NFL.
Top guard in the NFL.
Do you think Denver fans would have been upset if John Elway had signed Richie Incognito?
I also think See, I just look at it from my standpoint. I think there are issues and there are issues. He was a bully against a player on his team.
This is different.
To me, that's different than
I agree too.
Okay, so then that's why Van Gundy shouldn't have mixed these issues. Because what he was trying to say was, you Dallas people are bums because you're booing a guy who changed his mind
Yeah.
in DeAndre Jordan.
And I'm saying-
and then you're throwing in Greg Hardy. That has nothing to do with it, Van Gundy. That's
what I'm
mixing your argument to a point that it's absurd.
Any fan base would have booed DeAndre Jordan
Yeah.
if that
Every
had happened.
single
I have
one.
to shut